unbelievable. So, something that's... Why I didn't really want to say anything while you were talking.
Sure.
But if you look...
Yeah.
How does... And this was in front. So what's in there to get that hot to melt that?
From this little grass fire right here, you mean? Right?
Yeah. I mean, because you know how hard it is to burn stuff inside without oxygen and like in an enclosure.
Closed area.
Yeah, so for it to go inside there.
So I'm just going to put you on the spot. You got any theories?
I haven't seen anything that can do this yet. Not personally.
Really? Jeez. So even in all the outlandish things that you've heard on the internet, is there like
I've seen stuff on movies that could do this.
Right. I have scientists telling me that this is Star Wars.
Yeah, stuff like that.
This is Star Wars level
like
stuff.
Like the Death Star, like pointed
Correct.
its gun at us and.
Correct. This is like legitimate scientists. They're telling me, Eric, tell me if these photos and these images I'm seeing are real, because I don't think they can be, because it breaks science.
Yeah, it's like
something that's never been that they don't understand.
Yeah, definitely like the Death Star pointed its little gun at this thing.
Understand it now.
So, I mean, again, I don't believe in this stuff personally, and I don't know if you do, but could a direct energy weapon do something like this to your knowledge?
I've seen flashlights on TV that burn stuff. That's all I've seen.
Yeah.
But so personally, I don't know. No,
because every time I hear that, I just check out. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, until I see it with my own eyes,
Right.
I'm very skeptical.
That's the first thing you told me when we met this morning. I've never met you before, and you just reached out to me and said there's some stuff I've seen that you need to see. Yeah. But the first thing you said is you don't believe in all that conspiracy garbage. You need to see stuff with your own eyes, and then you kind of go from there.
Yeah, when you see stuff like this, it makes your head turn sideways like a dog when he, hears that funny sound.
Right. By the way, that day that you were in the wind, you said that you heard some sounds that were similar to a tornado. Tell me a little bit more about that.
6 months ago, there was a really big tornado in Texas, and I was just over 100 yards away from it. And that tornado, our RV was like floating, and I opened the door, and I heard this distinctive sound, and it sounded like almost like a high-rise building on a spin cycle. Just whoo. It was a scary, eerie sound, because it was like at that time that I heard it, it wasn't a serious wind that I could feel, but it was like it was something that you could just tell it had power behind it. And I heard that same sound the day of the fire when I was directing traffic 3 times.
Yeah.
And it did knock me up against the rail, and I'm 240 pounds, so I was a foot away from the rail, and me and the guy who stand next to you just got totally slammed against the guardrail.
Yeah.
Direct energy weapons.
And it was, you could almost literally see the wind and the debris spinning.
Direct
almost
energy
like a
weapons.
tornado or something.
Yeah.
So you've been on scene since the moment this thing started. You have a little motorcycle that I know you love, and you've been driving all over the place. I know you're shocking a lot of these bradas. They know you, these guardsmen. Hats off to them. Thank you for their service and what they're doing.
Yeah.
What, if you were to list the top 5 things that you see so far that are kind of fishy, that don't make sense to you, besides obviously the bombshell that we just revealed to the world, any other notes or bullet points that you think were just don't make sense, or that just don't add up?
Well, for the people to hear, because I know there's a lot of internet stuff going on, the communities are being fed, they're given water and food in abundance. There's no lack of.
Okay.
And FEMA was never stopping that, because I heard some stuff about, they were putting a halt to that.
Well, they did block supplies coming in at one point, but anyway.
But not where I was, so I didn't see any of that. I never saw any fire trucks.
Did you see anyone spraying a fire at any time? Any water coming out of a fire truck?
No. And then the police department would just, it was like, they were just running around like chickens, just had no idea what was going on or what to do.
Do you believe, and this is a big question, the police were directing traffic around down power lines?
Yeah. No, they weren't, actually. I was.
You were? Okay. So in your opinion, and I know we love our police, man, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, right?
It's just...
What is it that the police were doing? Were they just doing how do you explain what they were doing? Is there any explanation?
One of them said that they were following the orders of the chief of the fire department. And I was like, okay. So, because I was trying to ask a question about how they justified routing the residents into the neighborhood where the fire was headed. And he goes, well, it's up to the chief of police. And I go,
Chief of the police? Or the
chief of fire department. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Thanks for great.
Island is, that's what I heard.
We heard that he was off island. That's what we've heard. We don't know.
Yeah, so I don't even know, but that's what the cop told me.
That's what the cop told you.
Yeah.
That's the rumor we've heard is that
Yeah,
the emergency management director was on Oahu. That's confirmed. It didn't fly
Okay.
back until the next day or the day after. Chief
Yeah.
of the fire department, we're told, was gone, and also the governor was off and not in the state.
I did talk to Hawaiian Electric, and one of the guys, he sounded like a very intelligent guy. He said that the power grid for Lahaina was rated at 60 miles per hour, and their protocol, anytime there's a high wind advisory, protocol is to kill power anytime they hear a high wind advisory that's closer to the maximum wind velocity that it can withstand.
Yeah.
And he said that was not met, and he told me to my face.
They
So-
never met.
They
that
never.
amount.
Yeah, he said. Well, it was said that it wasn't turned off, and that because I asked him, I go, well, is the termite infestation at the bottom of all the poles that fell? He goes, no. He goes, that doesn't matter. It's the fact that when the wind blows at such a high rate that it causes. This is what he told me. It causes the power lines to sway back and forth, and when they touch, that shorts out the transformer, and it blows the transformer and blows embers all over the dry grass, and that's what starts the fire.
Right, because the highest point that we could find on aerial imagery was right below the substation on
Okay.
Lahaina Luna. That's the
Okay.
highest point. So if the wind is blowing straight towards the ocean, east to west, then it would make logical sense
Right,
that
and
the highest
especially
point.
if it's running parallel with the wind. Yeah.
Correct. The highest point was right
Or
below
not
that
parallel, but
substation,
cross.
which is right sort of below the solar field next to Lahaina Luna High
Right.
School. That's the highest point that we could
And
find.
I think we're going up there
we are.
from here. Yeah.
So any other things that you saw that day that didn't make any sense?
Um.
Or since that day? Besides, obviously, if you just joined the live, we are just pointing out a car that is next to a small grass fire over here. You can tell there's pieces that didn't even burn. So not a big raging fire right here. We're right next to the bypass, right below Laniapoko. You can tell all that grass did not burn. Yet we have a car sitting here in plain sight. Incinerated with what all is melted here in your opinion that we've just shown? We got melted glass.
It'd probably be easier to count what's not melted.
Right?
The A arms and the struts are good. Any thick metal. So, and then for some reason the sheet metal withstands high heat. And then, yeah, it's just the frame. The frame and then the sheet metal is the only thing that's left.
And